Hi everybody. Today basically we're going to talk about what we have done at the computer science department. We did some changes sometimes in August, but we planned that early in the year. So here's what happened. Last week I got this on the email, on the CNN, and it basically show what we have, what state we have now about our email, and it's perfect for this presentation. Here's what it says. Basically, if you are a system administrator, this is a problem for you, right? Everything is going down, everything is slowing, and we are part of the problem with this whole thing, including some of the country. And criminals are also into it. And the problem is definitely not going away, because now we have more and more source of the spam. Here's what we have in terms of the problem that we see at LCSR. We know that our mail to unknown users are growing. Basically, spammers are sending mail to basically all kind of usernames, just hoping that it will get to your mail system. So everything is going up. And we have a lot of over quota errors because the mail that the spammer sends, basically overloading your mail inbox, and then that will cause over quota errors, especially when you have students that only have 10 or 20 megabyte of quota. This will really fill up really fast when they send you pictures, movies, or whatever. And at the same time, we have a mail queue problem. The queue keeps on going up because we have a lot of spams. And on top of that, because spams are coming to all kind of users, we have bounces all over the place, and the bounce keep on coming back, and it's looping. So the spam is going up, we know that, and as a result of the queue going up, everything is slowing down. Delivery that normally takes seconds now could take minutes, and sometimes hours. There was last time we had it for like 3 days before it arrived, for some reason. Here's the statistics that we have at LCSR. Sometimes from December to August, we have here the statistics that says, basically the red are the bad mail that we got. Sometimes in December we have about 50,000 of total mail in a day, and then by August it's like doubling, easily to 100,000. The green part are the good mail. So we got a lot of junk, and the news basically says we have 9 out of 10. This is about 8 out of 10 by August. And this is if you do a percentage graph of the picture above, you'll see that most of it are red and most of it are bad. Okay. Now what we see here is a problem that needs to be fixed really, really quickly. We have an infrastructure problem at LCSR that we need to have a control over. Here's what happened with our mail system before we did the change. We have a lot of mail servers. We have clusters of servers, and each cluster receives email. So we have a faculty cluster, research cluster, and all of those, and each one of them has email. And each clusters also have clients. And each one of the clients points to the servers. So if you send mail to the client, it will arrive on the server. So we actually have too many addresses that people can send mail to. So if you have a cluster with 10 clients on it, and you have a user named Joe, for example, so you can send mail to client 1, Joe at client 1, Joe at client 2, and all of those, and they all arrive on the same spot. So this is what happened that will fill out your mail really, really fast. And this is what the spammer was trying with these unknown users. They keep on trying users with multiple machines because they can send them. So therefore we have multiple entry points that we need to stop. And on top of that, we have a lot of unread email. What happens is that when you have multiple clusters, one user may have an account on every one of the clusters. Now they have 4 places where they can read their email from, and they don't know that they have another place where they have to read their email. people sending the mail to cluster 1, they don't read it because they always read mail from cluster 2. So this is a big problem.
It's generic.
So we actually have a waste of resources all over the place. A third problem that we saw is overloading all over the place. We have overloaded mail queues because the mail is coming and they grow all the way to thousands of emails that needs to be delivered, and therefore we have a slow delivery in our system. And at the same time, we also overloaded our spam filters. Every mail that we have received, we check against spam filters. And because we have multiple entry and multiple mail, we have the spam filters getting overloaded because the mail queue is overloaded. And a lot of times the email gets reprocessed again because somebody from cluster 1 forward to cluster 2, and that gets reprocessed again. So we have a high volume of email, and therefore a high load on our spam filters. And when the spam filters is overloaded, it's timing out. When it's timing out, none of the email gets checked for spam. So you get spam in your inbox. The fourth problem that we have, this is a side effect of the problem. It's a bonus basically. It's not really a problem related to spam. Our system basically based on send mail before, so you don't really have a web mail. It's a text based only basically, and you do have an IMAP protocol, but it's not reliable. And you have a file locking problems. You have restricted disk space on your system, and that problem gets bigger because now the mail is looping the locking. And then one of these problems that we have with the U Washington mail system is that the mail that you deleted keeps on coming back, and you just can't delete the email. So it's causing all kind of problems to our users. This is what happened with the flow of our mail system. With the clusters, the mail can come from all the clients and all to the clusters. And every one of those mail get checked to the spam filters, then get back to the mail server. And then it goes to the user inbox. So we have a lot of entry points in that system, and that is what we need to cut. So what do we need to do? What we did was that we did an overhaul. Basically, we need to consolidate all our mail systems into one. So we have one point of entry, and we can control everything from there. And we also need to have a better spam processing. Timing out spam servers is just not good because none of your email will get checked, and it's just going to be a problem. You're going to have false positive, false negative because none of the email gets checked. We need to improve our quality of service. Faster delivery is a good thing. 3 hours later or something like that is not good. And somebody emails something, they say don't go out because it rains or something. 3 hours later you get the email, it's no good. Like we had a problem last time when somebody actually sent a mail, say don't go to Route 18, go somewhere else. And 3 hours later he got the mail. It's no good. And we need to improve our interface of the email. Text-based only is not good. We need to have a webmail interface and all the other stuff. And we have also a need for a more reliable IMAP server. So we announced these changes sometimes in May. We give 3 months or so to our users. And we tell them that by August 1, everything has to move. That means all the mail that you have, now you got to move to the new mail servers, and you have to open the new accounts on the new servers. Everything has to change. So here's the change that we did. We changed everything to a single mail server. We actually use a commercial mail server. It's called Communicate Pro. We have a new email policy, basically, in order to control this accounts, the mail system. Before we did the changes, we have thousands and thousands of accounts because every cluster have users on it, and it's just simply too many users. We thought we have 4,000 users. We did it. What we did, we changed the policy. We make sure that a certain group of people can have access, certain group of people do not have access to email anymore. To do that, we actually have to tell them to create a new account on the new system. So we tell them to go make an account on that new system. If they cannot make an account, they're not qualified. That's how it works. And
that's more than a demerit.
All right, you're out of it.
so what we did over quarter problems. Before we have a system where we have students that have 20 or 10 megabytes of disk space, and they're supposed to do their work with that. They're supposed to compile, Emacs everything, and when they get email with junk in it, they just fill up their mail server really quickly, they just fill up their quota really quickly, and they don't have space to work. That affects everything that they do. So now we separate everything, separate work and email. They have a minimum of 1 gigabyte of disk space, and some now have even 6 gigabytes. And we added this warning that it's, to prevent the quota problem, we added an 80% warning. When you hit 80% of your quota, the email is sent to you that says you're running low. And if you forgot that or you missed that, and at 95% you get another email. Remember, 80% of 1 gigabyte is still a lot. It's like 200 meg. So there's still plenty of time for you to forget about it. And also what we did was we centralized all the spam check. Now that we have one single mail server, we can centralize all the spam into one place. We can control that. And the mail will not get rechecked over and over again. It only gets checked once. The spam filter setup. We need to change our spam filter setup also. So what we have in our spam filters is basically a spam assassin-based software. It's free. We basically have 3 servers, and they are centralized. You do not have a contact. You can only access it via spam-C. And it's accessed based on load balancing system using DNS. So the name is spam filters, and you can just access it, and DNS will split it to whatever machine that it needs. On top of the regular spam assassin, we also added some enhancement to that software, because out-of-the-box spam assassin is just not good enough. It's just too much problem. So what we did was that we added a dynamic custom rule set. This is very good. Basically, we thought we can't catch any spam. I'll show you later about what I meant. The rules that we get is coming from Rules Emporium. They have a collection of all kind of spam filter rules. It's very good. You gotta check it out. The rules is updated daily or whenever you need to update it. Whenever they see a new spam, they add it, they update it, and so you need to check it every day. So it's like the DAT file for the virus system. So you need to have a dynamic system to fight these spam that keeps on growing and new style every time. On top of that, we also added optional modules to our spam filters. We added DCC and Razor. DCC basically a checksum system. What it does, it counts how many specific email that gets sent and resent over and over again. So when you get, let's say, same email gets sent 1,000 times, the number grows. If it gets sent 20,000 times, it gets a higher number. Razor is like DCC, except it only counts for spam. We added a signature detection. There is a domain key and SPF. We use this basically primarily for penalizing users. Email that have a wrong SPF key or wrong domain key, and also do it for whitelisting. Certain sites that already have this, we can whitelist them, and we know they're good. And we added custom plugins. One of it is the IP country. What it does is basically it watches your email, see if it gets relayed from certain countries, and it gives you a point. And the last is fuzzy OCR. This is the one I just added sometimes in October because of the new type of spam. I'll talk about that later. On top of all the changes that we did, we also did some tweaks in the mail server. We added this delay SMTP prompt. So this is, I don't think every mail server can do this. The one that we have can do this. Basically, what it does, when you open a port 25 in a mail server, it doesn't give you anything. It waits. It waits for, what we set is about 18 seconds. It waits for 18 seconds before giving you any prompt. The idea is that you think that spammer wants to send mail as fast as they can, as much as they can, so the delay will actually cause them to go to another place. So this one is actually very effective. It works. We also added an immediate rejection on any mail that comes to our system if the mail, if the source address is listed in spam house. Spam house is a DNS block list. We actually pay them some money to get that feed locally. It's free basically, but if you have too much mail, they'll come after you and tell you have to pay. So, on our mail server, we added a feature that is kind of like prevention for attack. If you do something to our mail server and do it wrong a couple times in certain seconds, it will blacklist your IP address and give you access again in another 20 minutes. So for 20 minutes, you can't do anything. You can try and try, but nothing will go in. And we make sure that no repeat or spam checking. So if the user already received the mail in the system and do some kind of forwarding, the mail does not get rechecked again. So it has a signature that makes sure it doesn't get rechecked again.
Excuse me, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
When you said automatic blacklisting on failures,
Yes.
can you say a little bit more about that?
Basically, a lot of spammers basically try with all kind of SMTP codes, and they do this, they do that, and eventually the system notices something wrong. Say, this guy keeps on doing it wrong syntax, wrong protocol so many times. I'll just stop you right there and let you try again in 20 minutes.
Is it part of your SMTP server, namely Communicate Pro, or do you do it?
It's part of our system. It's part of the Communicate. I'm not sure how you can do it with SendMail.
Okay.
So there might be a way. Another thing is that we add a feature into the mail server that is, if your mail comes with certain headers, we can ban that mail. We can just reject that immediately. So this particular message was about 2 weeks ago. Thousands of them come in to the systems. This particular header has got this particular string in it, and it was coming like crazy. And everybody talked about it on the net. I was in the mailing list, everybody talking about it, and I saw that, put it in, everybody also saw that, we'll put it in, and it stops a lot of, this basically an email that comes from botnet. Those those machines at home that were infected. Yeah.
When you ban the mail, do you actually send a message saying the mail is not retransmitted, or do you drop them?
No, we don't. We drop it right by the door. That means when you send it,
You refuse to accept it. You don't.
refuse to accept it, the mail never gets sent.
Right,
as far as the
but-
user is
but
concerned.
if you're checking on the subject header, then you're not able to parse the subject header until you enter the body
Right.
of the message. So
We reject it immediately.
So it's a reject at the end, but it's not a silent rejection. You give the appropriate, I think it's the 500.
Yeah, the 500 errors.
Okay.
The 500 errors. It's like the email never completes.
Right. No.
So, the other enhancement that we did to the system is we localize our DNS block list. That means we run our DNS block list locally, and so when we have a network problems outside Rutgers, we have last year we have a lot of problems with the network. We can't get access, so mail does not get checked, spam gets into your mailbox, so it's a problem. So what we do, we bring them locally. All the block lists that are used by spam assassins are all local, and certain ones are not local because they are commercial, but we can't do anything about that. But anything that's available, I bring them locally. We added caching name service just to speed up the access. And the immediate rejection to non-service. Remember the clients before? We got a lot of mail to those clients that shouldn't be receiving email. Well, anytime somebody sends mail to those clients, they immediately gets rejected. No email will come via the clients anymore. This is what happens when you send an email to the client. It just refuses it. It gives you a 500 errors. It says does not accept email. Try send to this email address instead. It's small, but here's the new flow of the system. Email that comes to the clients, go to no mail, and comes back. So we MX the machine, all the clients to a machine called no mail. All it does is reject everything, nothing else. And then the next one, all the email that comes to the server is controllable because there's only one email address, which is cs.rutgers.edu. That one goes the normal way and goes to user inbox after it gets processed.
You need to set MX records for the clients process.
Doesn't matter. We just MX it to a machine called no mail.
All right, so anything.
Yeah, you need to set the MX record, yeah. Here's a sample of spam email. I'll show you how spam assassin actually tag it. We've seen a lot of these. It's a stock email that comes with some garbage in front, and it shows up in the mail in the thousands. If you use spam assassin and you happen to have no network, this is what would happen with spam assassin. It will check it. It'll say the email is not spam because it only knows about two things about the email. It's basically every time it checks the mail, it gives a point to items it finds in the mail. So for this one, it gives a 1.1 extra for M part and 0 for body for base. Basically, the base is the system that learns for the mail that you receive. Now, this is what happens if you enable a DNS block list and you have network problem, but you run your DNS locally. You won't have any problem with the outside network, but you when you have a local DNS, problem outside network is not an issue, right? So everything runs, everything gets checked, and the emails still get checked, and you still get the a little bit below 5. In this case, we have a spam set. If you will, you have 5 points or so. Now this is what happened if you add the other modules. This is the relay country module that you added to that. When you add that, now suddenly it knows that the mail was relayed to China. Now you get a 5 points, and that's already tagged as spam. Now this is, you add the rules from Rules Emporium. Now it knows more about the email. The more rules you add, the more things it knows. Now, this is an image spam. Again, just like before, but if you add fuzzy OCR inside the spam assassin, interesting thing happens. You see this email is interesting because the text and the pictures are basically just image, and the text is like jaggies intentionally so that you can't detect it. With all kind of backgrounds. I'm not sure if it's readable, but spam is sensitive. This is what they do. If you run no fuzzy OCR detection, the email will just be detected as 4.8, and it won't be detected as spam. But if you run fuzzy OCR on top of that, now suddenly it knows there's certain text in the pictures. Now it starts grading the text. It starts putting points into the text. It finds those words in it, and it puts a point. Now suddenly your email becomes spam.
What's the overhead on running with that kind of recipe on a large mail server?
The overhead, as far as I can tell, is not that much. I'll show you why. If we did not change our system in August, I don't think we can run it. But now that we changed the system, things is much easier. The load in the system is 1 at all time. I'm not sure. It's not that bad. And spam is changing. You can see in one day you get different types of spam. You have different sizes, different backgrounds, different everything. So the reason why they did that, different sizes, because there's another module in Spam Assassin that you can use that detect the size of the image to reduce the load in the system. All you do is detect the size of the image. If the size of the image is a certain size, you give it certain points. So these people try to different sizes, get smaller and get smaller. Eventually you got just the stop name. There's nothing else in it. But again, if you have your Spam Assassin with all kinds of rules in it, it still gets detected even if fuzzy OCR is not there. You can see this is all the rules from the Rules Emporium, the SAR. SAR on the bottom, this basically says Rules Emporium. Spam Assassin Rules Emporium. So it starts detecting all kinds of things in the image and start getting spam. So here's the current state of our mail system. We have lowered the process spam. Before we had thousands of spams, now maybe much lower. The actual spam actually gone up, but we process much less after the changes that we did. We use more efficient resources, and therefore we can run fuzzy OCR, all the stuff that we think is overloading the system. it's not a problem anymore. We now have a faster and better mail service in the sense that we now have a web mail, much more reliable IMAP service, and we have large quota for everybody. Out of quota problem is not an issue anymore because they get warning, 2 times warning. I remember last week even, I still have people coming to me and say, I can't read my email from our system, RCI, because they're out of quota. They can't read them. We need a warning. So here's the map now. Here's the graphics based on presentation. I'm not sure you guys can see that. Here's what happened. Before, sometimes last year, we processed about 70% of the email. Notice, I'll give you an explanation of the colors later. Basically, now we process about 35% of the email instead of 70%. How? Now, anything in the arrow there, the bottom all the way to the green, mail that we reject right in front of the door without processing it ever. Okay, so that reduced the spam processing a lot. Notice we increased the rejection. The rejection before in December is very low. Now the rejection is very high. Spam is about the same, if not lower, a little bit lower, but in terms of percentage, it's very low. But that's what we process. And the ham, which is the good mail, we process much lower in terms of percentage. But if you see the real pictures, here's the real pictures that we have sometimes in the whole year, from December all the way to this morning. The volume has gone up by 4 times. The 4 doesn't show up. Before we have about 50,000, now we have about 20,000 of email. And the blue part there, the spiked. Those are attacks that people were sending. And they get blocked immediately by the blacklist because our system put spam house, anything that is in the spam house, rejected immediately. Now if you zoom in just from September to this morning, right, this is up to date, you see that at the bottom there, the very bottom are those emails that get rejected by blacklist. Very small, not that much, right, except for the spike. And then we block stuff from bad SMTP commands. Those are the people that get immediately blacklisted when they try too many times wrong stuff, wrong protocol. That seems to be a lot. Then those are the unknown users. Mail that were sent to unknown users. What? The old system normally take the mail, process it through the spam, and send it back. Says we don't know these users. Now it doesn't work like that anymore. We reject it right by the door. We don't process it, we just reject it right away. Spam is really small, the green is spam. Anything that, after those rejections, I check by the spam filters, and this is the spam. It's not growing, if you can see. Not growing as fast as we want it. But the overall mail grows by 4 times. Right? The spam is not growing as fast. And the ham...
Spam?
What?
You deliver that spam? The green?
The green is spam, yeah.
You deliver it?
Yes, we deliver it, and it has a tag. It says spam. And the user have a rule that automatically put it into the spam folders. They can check it whenever they like. Or delete it. It's up to them. We never delete mail. We reject it, but we never delete mail. If we receive it, we deliver it. And so the process, the whole thing that we process is very small. It goes about the same. It's not that much more than before. So, to review, we had multiple servers before, multiple entry points, overloaded servers, and quality of service is not so good. Now we have a single mail server, everything is good, better spam processing, improved quality of service. We've got web mail now, people can access it from anywhere they want. We have a web interface. Now we have left with the future. Problem is not going away. The spam is a fight that we always have to do every day. It's always following the spammer. We'll never win. And the problem is that SMTP assume everything is trusted, and we just can't do that, right? We have criminals now on it. It's just the net is not secure. We need a better solution. So I don't know what the solution is, but we do need a better solution. So, any questions? And those are the URL for those sites that I use.
With your increased rules, are you seeing more false positives? Are your users reporting more false?
No.
No. Okay. The thing about inline images particularly concerned me because on RCI at least, there are legitimate reasons to send inline
Yes.
images.
And with fuzzy OCR, you have lists of words that you can control.
Right.
And you can imagine the words that most likely is never going to get used by a legitimate mail. So, those words are detected. The rest of the words are not detected. You can control the words that you want to put in the list. So just put the list. Just put them in the list. Any questions there?
Any questions? Newark, Camden?
No?
No, I was just going to say that in Newark we run that for Andromeda and Pegasus,
Yeah?
and we found that stock symbols are great for the fuzzy OCR list.
Fuzzy OCR is not perfect. It's got a lot of problems, but if you control it, it works.
I have a question about mail submission.
Yes.
Are you actually doing authentication for users when they submit mail?
Oh yes, that's a definite yes.
Right. When they submit it, though, are your users who authenticate bound to the same tests as mail from incoming readers? Do you check your own users for spam? Is what I'm asking.
Yes, every mail that comes out gets checked for spam, but it's up to the receiver to do anything about it.
Okay.
They don't care about the flag that we'll put in there.
So
Doesn't matter.
You're not going to automatically reject
We're
any
not
mail
going to
that
reject
comes
it.
from authenticated
We're
users.
not rejecting anything.
How much do you pay for the SMTP server that you communicate? Or is it like charged per like inbox or how?
Okay, Communicate is really crazy. It's really ridiculous. What happened is that we started using Communicate about 5 years ago, about 2000, 2001. At that time, they're just beginning, and at that time, we already had problems with this IMAP in Washington. So we started using Communicate. We actually signed up for 1,000 users, and we paid $2,000. That's not bad. It's really cheap, right? And it's very good. And they just say basically every year you have to pay 20% of what you pay as maintenance. So you get all kind of upgrades that you want. Whatever upgrades they send, you get 20%. And we still have that deal today. What happened is that 2 years or a year and a half ago, they changed their policy. They added a lot of stuff to their system. They added calendars, they added SIP-based telephone, they added all kind of stuff. Then they jack up the price like 10 times. And so it becomes very expensive for anybody. Even now, if we want to buy more users, it's going to be expensive. If we want to use more features, it's going to be expensive. So what we have, we're just lucky because we had it a long time ago. Now it's very expensive.
What are the main features you have there and you cannot find in postfix or sendmap?
The delay problem is one of it.
Well,
Automatic.
it's available.
It's probably, yeah. Automatic blacklisting for errors. The web interface is very nice. What else do they have? The rules, applications, and all the stuff. We did all kind of stuff to it. It's very good, and I can program stuff to it. Like for example, the features that I say automatic account creation. That's just small, short programs.
Your webmap client is part of the Communicate package?
Yes, it's part of the Communicate package.
How about the map? Is it also part of it?
IMAP, POP, all kinds. It supports everything. It has its own LDAP. It's all included. The one that's not included is the Outlook features, the calendars, the address books, or whatever. All anything to do with Outlook that we never use. Yeah.
What kind of hardware does this run on? Or your
It
hardware?
runs off Dell.
Dell server
Dell
3500.
2650? Yeah,
That's what it
it's
was.
a single processor. Dell 2650, the load on the machine is about 1 most of the time. And we actually total have about 450 users, not 4,000. 450 users, that's all. Before we got so many users, it's overloading everything, now we don't. And users actually have much bigger disk space than before, but we have limited control. We have control of the users, and it's only 400 people. And we have 1,000 licenses. We have time to grow.
Do you have like inboxes or mail gear or mixed kind of?
Oh, the inboxes is very good compared to the U-Washington. Basically, inbox can mix with mail. Unlike U-Washington, you can't mix the email inbox and folders together. This one you can mix it any way you want it. You can choose the format that you want. You can have mail gear format. You can have mailbox format.
How about the SMTP? Is it capable of storing email and mail gear and inbox at the same
Yes,
time?
yes, yes. You can choose whatever, any user that you want. We actually use MailDear because we want to have easy backup. The machine is backed up every 5 minutes. It's all fully backed up. It's continuously running, backup. Every 5 minutes it's full. It's done again, do again, do again. So that's how we do it. It's backed up to NetApps.
Using rsync.
Using rsync. Any other questions?
How did you come up with 18 seconds to be delay?
Good question. Well, this before, everybody was talking about it because this is a good feature, right? And everybody was talking about it, and they try from high number and lower, 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 and it keeps them going down. About last year, we were set at 28 seconds. 28 seconds. And everything was good. Until recently, Verizon did something. What they did, every time you send them mail, they send something back, try to connect back to you. And that connection back does not wait. It does not wait. So, after about 20 seconds, it stops and it won't take your mail unless it can talk back to you. So mail to Verizon stopped getting sent. So I started lowering the numbers, and eventually it went. So I stopped there. What happens is the IRC said you can put 15 minutes. But most people don't follow IRC. So,
Are they trying to access ident daemon?
what?
Are they trying to access ident daemon?
It talks back to you port 25.
Oh, back to 20.
Yeah, it opens the connection to port 25 and see if it could talk back to you. Otherwise, it won't take your email. So, and therefore I have to reduce the number. Because at about 20 seconds, they took it. So I said 18 seconds is a good number. I don't want to be too tight. Yeah.
What would you, during normal operating times, what would you consider normal delivery time for mail coming in, including the 18 seconds? Just a guess.
Less than a minute. Has to be less than a minute. Can't be longer than that. I mean, users are just going to bother. They press return, they assume the mail will be there. It has to be very, very short amount of time. I mean, more than a minute is too long, I think. So, any other questions? No? Anybody want to know about DNS blacklisting? Yeah? Okay, let's go on.
He just happens to have the slide.
I have the slide already. So DNS blacklisting is basically a block list. It's like a zone files. It contains a list of IP addresses and maybe a host names. And there are a bunch of them that are used by spam assassins. Every one of those we have locally. Every one of those are used by spam assassins. So running them locally will make your spam assassin work better, work faster. It doesn't count on outside network, and also reduce your top talker possibility. These four are being used by spam assassins to whitelist the email. So if you actually pay these people to send your email will get in because they get whitelisted. This I don't have. This I have to talk from outside. So I don't really care about these people because if I don't get them, they don't get whitelisted. So if you want to run your own, it's very simple. It's fast, cheap and easy, and all you need is set it up one time and forget about it. It's very, very fast and easy. It's very reliable, it hasn't crashed on me, and what you need is just two softwares, RBL DNSD and rsync. And the Linux machine or Unix machine, the Sun or whatever, it doesn't have a high load, it's very low load. And you need to donate some money to them. When you ask them for a fee, they actually suggest that you donate some money. But I told them I don't have money. So, with budget cuts, we can't give them money. The only one we pay, however, is Spam House. We do have to pay for Spam House, because they won't give it to you, and we use Spam House. It's very good. And we actually pay for Spam House. It was Joe's group and LCSR paid for that Spam House fee. It's basically $660 a year for 50,000 users. So what we have, you can use.
Yeah, essentially what happened was, we were using Spam House just directly because it is technically a free service. The problem is that we were getting so much mail that Spam House came and said, hey, guys, can we work out a little deal here, you know, since
this happened when
you're
they get
overloading
sued.
our servers?
Remember they get sued about a few months ago? That happens about that time. They need money. So they start sending mail to people that were using their system. And we did pay them. Setting up, it's very easy. You install it. It's make commands, it's easy. Rsync you already have. All you do is rsync the zone files. Set up a cron job so that it updates every 20 minutes. Add an entry to DNS. And change your spam assassin to point to it. That's it. The website will tell you in detail how to do it. Alright? And that's all for me. Any questions? No? No work, Camden? Are they working?
No, our video locked up on both sides, but we can still hear and see you just fine.
Oh, okay, you can't see?
They're stunned. People should move.
I was gonna say-